All right, boys and girls, we are back again with episode 4 of the Breakdown Podcast. I'm Witty Calf, joined with my man, Skate Action. Skate, how you doing today, brother? Hope everything's well. Ready to dive into some fun here?
Yeah, I'm ready to dive in. Everything's good here in the good old Midwest of the US of A. So, just a fine Sunday afternoon as it's high 50s, low 60s I think today. So. It's kind of a pretty day outside.
Do you guys actually have sun?
Yes, the sun is still up there. I can verify. So.
All weekend long. This how it always happens. It seems in Pennsylvania. We get a couple nice sunny days throughout the work week, and then the weekend, nice and rainy all weekend long. But
yep, that sounds about right. That's usually what it is right here. We got lucky today, though. We got some sunshine today. So.
Yeah, anytime the sun can stay out, you can't take that sucker for granted, so that's awesome to hear. We do have a lot of good things to talk about today.
Yes.
More Overwatch stuff with Friday Night Overwatch just becoming a staple, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Some more tournament hype. A little leaker for the new Xbox Series X.
Yeah, a little bit.
And you know what? At the end the sports guys are going to talk sports because there's a thing that happens every year, but this was a first time ever event. We'll dive into that as well, but let's get into it. The Xbox Series X logo was leaked.
Yes.
This week, new trademark filed by Microsoft seems to reveal the new logo, and it's a tad familiar.
That looks. I've seen that X before. I think somewhere. Where? Witty, where have I seen that X before? I don't know. It looks real familiar.
I feel like I don't
you know? I don't know where we've seen it before. It looks so familiar though.
It's right on the tip
it
of the
couldn't
tongue.
It couldn't be like similar to a design maybe that a former Xbox League had of some sort, could it?
You know what? Man, see, I needed to have the old merch ready.
I know, right? So you just slap it on and be like, this X.
That X right here. So I hope Sultan listens to this and notices that there's people out there that are definitely saying stuff that either we do or he does. And, you should feel a little proud about that because it looks very similar.
Oh yeah, this looks like a Sultan branding,
logo.
100%. Like if Sultan came to me and told me his design firm actually designed this, I would 100% believe it.
Yep.
But and the fact that I know some of the companies that he's designed some stuff for already and what it looks like, and I'm like, yeah, that would definitely be his type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very clean, very very simple. I like it. I think it works.
I like it a lot.
I don't expect much from the PlayStation side either. We'll probably get just a little bit modification of the PlayStation to have a 5 with the S or something for it. So I was curious to see how Microsoft would approach this, if they would do a rebranding of the logo, and it appears they will. Now we just got to see how the UI looks. Hopefully we'll get some leaks on that soon, as we're getting ready to turn the calendar to May, and I believe it's late June or July is when E3 usually is, so I would expect that is when we will probably see some kind of Microsoft standalone announcement, since E3 has been canceled for this year. Everybody doing their own thing. We still don't have any details of when that Microsoft announcement is going to be, but I'm pretty excited to see what they have.
Yeah, I definitely like it, and I'm just excited to see what their whole plan with it is, what information they're going to give us. You're right, it's just going to be little dribs and drabs of leaks and information until we get to some of these events that were supposed to happen over the summer. You just got to expect them to. I know E3 canceled, but that's the time when people were going to be ready to hear about it.
And probably get hands-on. They were probably going to be able to get hands on the console and actually try them out, and now they're not going to be able to. So it's unfortunate the way that works, but it's the way of the world right now that this coronavirus came through and took that away from us. But everything seems to be, I'm reading from both console manufacturers, from Microsoft and Sony both, that we're still slated to get them out around Thanksgiving. So we're looking at a November release for both boxes. So let's hope they can stick to that.
Yeah, that would definitely be nice, especially right around the holidays, right around Black Friday. You know,
Yep.
It's the season everyone will be wanting to spend some money. So
I'll be ready to spend some money.
Awesome.
That's for sure.
I don't know. I still don't know which system I'm going to go with. I might stay with Xbox. I might have
undecided, huh?
Still undecided. A big thing for me was like the show being the only good baseball game and that being on PlayStation, but next year that comes to Xbox. So
what took so long for the show to come to Xbox? Was that a Sony-owned property exclusively, or were
I have no clue, but like, okay, so Xbox 2K used to be for both consoles, and then the show started coming out, and the show kind of blew 2K away.
Yeah,
but when 2K completely stopped that left Xbox with nothing. It had to be Sony exclusive for a while, and I don't know if it's, hey, these new consoles are coming out, let's just, maybe the agreement was up and they were free to negotiate with both. I don't know, because I'll tell you what, Microsoft has only had RBI baseball for baseball fans that have Xboxes, and it was just
it was
nowhere close.
It's not where it needed to be.
I bought it last year going, it's $30. Like, yeah. I just want to play a baseball game.
No, just don't. Just stop with that.
It was bad.
Nonsense.
Just very bad.
Yeah, well, that's good that it's going to be coming to Xbox so that those folks can get their hands on it. I don't know. That whole thing, just license it. Even if it's Sony owned, just license it to Microsoft. Like, you'll get money from it still.
You're going to get money.
I know you won't sell your consoles, but let's be honest, neither one of these companies make money off the consoles. They make no money off of the physical hardware. So you make it off the games, you might as well license it out. I think we're going to see a lot more of that moving forward with cross-platform, that companies just won't care what platform it's on as long as it's out there for folks.
Yeah, it just... I think, especially with sports games or like a game like Overwatch too, the cross-platform would just benefit everybody. It'd be fun to be able to... I know in the Madden community, there's always, if you play on Xbox, you're not as good as PS4, and then the Xbox guys come over and this and that. Cross-platform, easy. Throw a couple tournaments together, see who wins, and hey, that gives you bragging rights for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You might as well, right?
So you saw that. You saw the X logo. It looks clean. Very well done by Microsoft so far. Expect leaks to come in dribs and drabs for both consoles.
Yeah, you'll probably see a story here to here or there every other week or so. I would expect here for the next few weeks.
Yeah. Just to keep the people wanting more, and what people also want more of, Friday Night Overwatch.
Oh yeah,
it's been a rousing success so far this week. We were back at it again with a Tier 3 doubleheader. Skate, why don't you dive into this? You were a part of the broadcast again. You guys were doing awesome. I was traveling and got to throw it on and watch my boys kill it again. So what did you see out of these games so far, or these games this week, especially a T3 doubleheader? We haven't had a same tier doubleheader throughout Friday Night Overwatches since that inception. So this was different.
Yeah, and a little peek behind the mirror for the scheduling of Friday Night Overwatch. We had a few games we were looking at. One was a Tier 4 game, but it was with someone that we've already had on the stream, so we're wanting to kind of spread that around to get some more exposure for folks. Similar to fans of the NFL will know how Monday Night Football kind of does their schedule, where they try to get everybody on there one time to try and spread that load out if possible. So that's what we're trying to do with Friday Night Overwatch. We have the staff to do a double header, so we want to have two games, and it just so happened that we had two Tier 3 matchups that were 2 hours apart when they were scheduled, and both included teams that are essentially contenders for the playoffs. The first one was Tier 3 Owl, who was 4-0, had not dropped a single map, I think. Or, no, that was the second matchup. Tier 3 Owl had dropped 2 maps the entire season, but they were 4-0 going into it. GE Tardigrade. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that was right. Tier 3 Owl hadn't dropped a map. I'm getting them mixed up because we had 2 undefeated teams on this. So Tier 3 Owl hadn't dropped a map, loses the first map to Galaxy Esports Tardigrades. So, or as we called them, the little water bears, I think is what they're called, because that's what a tardigrade is. If you want to go on a deep dive, just Wikipedia that, and it's something to see. But anyways, yeah, we had the tardigrade team coming in at 2-2, and they were 4-4 on map score, or 8-8 on map score, I think. Whatever the math ends up being there. So they were perfect even. 500 on the map score. Yep. Put it that way. Skate's math skills, not good today. Not good. But, yeah, so that was the first one. So we had a team in Tardigrade that was trying to set themselves up for the playoffs, and I've said it before, I don't think 3 losses gets you in the playoffs for Tier 3 because of how many teams there are. So they were essentially playing for their playoff lives against an undefeated team that hadn't dropped a map yet. We did see Tier 3 Owl actually drop their first map, but they did improve to 5-0 with a 3-1 win in the early portion of Friday Night Overwatch. So 15-1 map score, I think, is what it was, because they had a forfeit somewhere in there, and they hadn't actually been credited with the map score. So I think they'll actually be 19-1 is how that rule works. I haven't seen it put in there, but I know it's supposed to be a 4-0 the way the rules are written. So it's just one of those things we got to get reported and get in there correctly, but they will be still with just that one blemish on the record. And then, obviously, Bullskunk and Billy taking the nightcap version of Friday Night Overwatch with Blaze versus Astrantia in a match that really everybody except me predicted correctly. I think the map score might have not been perfect, but I was the only one taking the favorites of Ignition Blaze, who were undefeated going into this match. They hadn't dropped a match yet this season in Overwatch, but you know, Astrantia, hats off to them for playing really well. It was a tied game at half, come out, and we get a draw on, I believe it was Kings. No, it was not Kings Row. It was on Anubis. A draw on Anubis. And then they went into the final map of Watchpoint Gibraltar to finish it up. And Astrantia, hats off to them, winning 2-1-1 and dethroning one of the undefeated teams. So I think there are 5 or 6 undefeated teams now in Tier 3. So depending on how many we have in the playoffs, I mean, it's starting to look like 2 losses may not get you in at this point. Yeah. It's tight. We'll have to see. The field of playoffs, to my knowledge, for Tier 3 has not been determined yet, and that is something that's going to be coming out in the next week or two. It's something that the Overwatch staff is working on. We wanted to wait and see how many teams we had and stuck around through the whole season. We didn't want to determine playoffs based on, 36 teams and 12 teams drop out throughout the year. Yeah. you get it lopsided. So we'll see how that goes in the coming weeks, and I'm sure we'll let you know here on the breakdown when that happens. But it was a great night of Overwatch, and I can tell you right now that both of those VODs are on the YouTube page that you're watching this broadcast on, if you're watching the video version of the podcast. So they are all up there and ready to go for your pleasure whenever you want to, watch them.
I think that'll be important for some of those Tier 3 teams to look at how Tardigrade beat Al on that first map, because that's our only blemish in the map score.
Yeah, and you can watch that to see. It's a very good one to go back and watch, even if it's kind of been spoiled at this point, because Tardigrade was in that all 4 maps. They did not get blown out a single map, and there was even an issue on Watchpoint Gibraltar where they had a chance to essentially tie the match and send it into a map 5. They had 2 minutes on the third point of attack and had a nano blade going into that and never got the nano blade off in 2 minutes. Never were never able to coordinate and pull the trigger on it. There was some heartbreak on the side of Tardigrade. I told them right after the game, I said, just throw this footage away. Don't watch this. It's going to be too sad. You feel for them because you know how close they were to pulling this massive upset and keeping their tournament, hopes alive for the playoffs. But we'll have to see how that works out to see if 3 losses gets in, because they are a feisty team.
Yeah, now hopefully they can use this to win out. The best thing they can do right now is to win out and hope a couple of these teams pick each other off, and it opens up that loss category to 3, 4. But it's going to be tough with how deep and top heavy Tier 3 is. But hats off to another exciting week of Friday Night Overwatch. It's becoming a great staple. Just getting excited for some console watch every week. It's a good showcase. Players are starting to kind of shine out and make a name for themselves, which is awesome to get anytime you have a broadcast like that. But just a reminder, get those games scheduled, especially if you haven't been streamed. It kind of, makes you want to get on there. So get those times in. And just a reminder, NSB United making the weekly highlight packages,
and they're fantastic. He's doing a heck of a job with that,
killing it. So hats off to him. Get those clips over to him and get on the weekly highlight reel, and have fun with that. Drop them plays, get them over, and get your name recognized. Get your name out there for sure. So we had Friday Night Overwatch.
Yes.
We had Saturday Night Call of Duty Warzone. It was CGL's first steps in the pond of the newest Battle Royale title. It was a $150 prize pool, kill race format. The stream is up on twitch.tv/CGL1. I'm sure that VOD will be up there
soon. I've got it on my computer. I'm working to see if I'm going through it now to see if there's anything I need to crop and adjust or anything like that, but I plan on getting both that and the Rainbow Six tournament that we had on Thursday. We kind of brushed over it because I don't think either one of us had a chance to check it out yet, so didn't really want to talk too much about something we didn't really have a chance to check out. But from what I hear from speaking to Corbeck, it went really well, and they were very impressed with it, and it was a good turnout and a good tournament.
Awesome.
But back to this Warzone thing. We did a Warzone event.
Kill race style, similar to what we've done for Apex Legends so far. And YVNG, I know it's supposed to say gang, something, I don't know.
It's probably young is what I'm sure. Young. Probably young gods.
Yes, that's right. GVNG is gang, YVNG is young. Hip lingo, I'm too old for this. But
you and me both. The only way I knew it was young is when I was watching parts of the VOD back today and getting some of a gist for how the tournament went, and to have an idea. It looks like a U on the stream, so that's how I would say. Well, I was like, oh, the V kind of looks like a U.
That definitely makes sense then. All right.
Yeah.
Kids, they're hip these days.
They are way more hip than me.
Yes. So we used to spell words out back in the day, except for like BRB or GTG, for us old AIM users.
We invented AFK.
That's right. That's what we had. That's what our generation has.
Yeah.
But these guys were gods last night. 10 games, 3 first place finishes, 224 kills, 74,556 damage done for 328 points. That's first place. They won by 80 points.
It wasn't even close.
Second place, KRC won first place finish, 175 kills, 65,471 damage. They had 248 points. So Young Gods win by 80 points, have almost 10,000 more damage, have about 50, almost 50 more kills, 2 more first place finishes.
Yeah. I mean, the video viewers, I've got the final results for the top 24 or so on the screen there, but Yeah, it was not even close. And that last match that Young Gods had that we had on stream, it's going to be worth checking out when I get the VOD up on the YouTube. Look for it in the next day or two. Make sure you're just hitting that sub button on the YouTube, and then you'll know when that stuff goes up there. But they had, I think, each of them had at least 13 kills. All three of them did in that last game. I know the guy running the stream had 15, almost had 16 at the end. He kind of kamikazed a helicopter into someone at the end and tried to get the kill. It was wild. They were down to the last three trios, and there were 6 people left in the game, and their squad was all the way up. So it was a 3v2v1 that they ended up taking the end. So they also got the points for the win. They got the points for the 40-some kills that they had, which was a point apiece. They got all the damage that they had in that game. So they essentially were on a victory lap at that point because they had essentially locked it up. I don't know I would be curious to see what the score was before that last game that they had for KR versus KRC, because they had a good 60, 70 points that game just off the top of my head. So it may have been that they had already had it locked up and that was the case. But this was also a neat tournament in that we did EU and NA in a staggered play style. So the EU folks got to play at, I think, 6 or 7 UK time.
Okay.
So that's East Coast plus 5, I think, is that time zone difference. But they did the same thing where they played for 3 hours and had a short halftime in between break and did it the same format. So they had already had those scores. KRC was one of the EU teams, and they were the leaders going into this, essentially like the evening session, as it were. And, they... The Young Gods showed up, and that's what they did. They just purely dominated from start to finish, it looks like. I mean, 3 wins in 10 games. That's an insane percentage. I still have yet to get my first win, and these guys did it 3 times in 3 hours.
And getting about 40 kills. That's absurd.
That's nutty.
I was like, when I won my first Fortnite solo, I had 1 kill. And it still felt great to win. These dudes are knocking out 14 people, getting a dub.
I mean, that's an average of 22.4 per game kills.
That's insanity. Holy crap.
I mean, I feel good when I get 6 or 7.
Yeah, right? You're like,
I feel like I am destroying everyone in that lobby. These guys are like, we just landed and we've got 8. Like, what's up?
Yeah, right. They automatically take 4 squads out right when they land. It's just like, nope, you're done this time.
But it looks like their play style played into it. They play that aggressive style kill race where really the wins don't matter as much.
True. You got to get the damage. You got to get the kills.
You got to get the damage. You got to get the kills. So you got to play these style tournaments aggressively. We'll have to see if we stick with this format moving forward. Obviously, I think it's a good format to have. You just you reward that aggressive play because you know what nobody wants to see? They don't want to see anybody shacked up in a house waiting on somebody to run in for 20 minutes. Nobody wants to see that. That's not fun.
No, that's never fun.
No.
Put your controller down, go to the bathroom, get a drink, and you're still alive and still in the same spot and haven't seen anybody.
It's like playing Mercy in Overwatch. Nobody wants to watch that.
Nobody wants to watch.
I'm a support main and I don't want to watch that.
But these kill race and this kill race format, like KRC, especially them being EU, that immediately makes me think of golfers. That they're the first to tee off. You got a lead, and you're just watching in the clubhouse as that guy is just rising up the board, and your lead's going down. Your lead's going down. Your lead's going down. I've never
it's got that feel to it.
So
because there's not a set number of games. You're getting in as many games as you can within that time frame, so it actually behooves you to play aggressive that way because it's just, hey, you've got 3 hours to go out there and just stack some bodies, so go for it, man. But it's interesting because you have this almost this separation in golf where you have the front 9 and the back 9, so it's almost like the EU was the front 9 and we're making the turn and we're seeing if the NA folks can catch those scores. They know what's out there. So I would be curious to see if it's an advantage or a disadvantage because we could actually flip-flop it the other way too, where we have the NA folks play the night before and then for for us here in the United States, obviously, it would be the next morning or afternoon. Then you have the
Yeah.
EU folks play. So you could flip it around and do, a little bit of a stagger either direction to see if it is advantageous. To see if, Young Gods goes up there and puts up a score, and then KRC knows they need to change their style so they can just dive in.
Yeah, very interesting with how you can do that. And it's just weird to, like, be done, you have the lead, and have no control over if someone comes back on you.
Yeah,
normally,
you did your job. Now you wait.
Yeah. Now you wait. Did someone do it better than you? That's
Exactly.
really what it comes down to. I do like the idea. I think we should suggest that, to have like a NA at like a Friday night, and then Saturday morning or afternoon let EU go. There's some potential with the staggers there that could definitely lead to some interesting tournaments. And I don't think we had anything going on our Twitch channel today, but we had Friday and Saturday action.
We had Thursday night action too.
Thursday night action.
It was 3. And guess what? Corbeck was on all 3 of those broadcasts. Corbeck is the marathon man. He's out there just putting in work, and it's been proven that he can just cast anything. I want to see him cast like birds fighting over a worm in my front yard at this point. He can just cast whatever.
Knowing Corbeck, he would throw in a couple things about each of the birds that you would not know.
Oh, yeah, about the...
Corbeck is such an intelligent specimen. Like, this man right here, always throwing out something that's so interesting. I love it.
I will go out on a limb and say he is the smartest of all of us staff members.
I think so. Just listen.
That's a safe bet.
I'm like, okay, this guy talks smart. Oh, he's very smart. Okay,
he's extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
Then you got guys like us, which we're just bumbling idiots.
We're
that
just here.
Yeah.
We're the comedic relief.
That's what we do.
And I have no problem with that. I've accepted that a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Just being comedic relief, and I thrive in it. So.
Oh, yeah. I understand. I'm right there with you, bud.
You need to blend to have a good team.
Yeah.
And next week, our CGL or our CGL Twitch channel, I was trying to say, is going to have a similar type of thing. I don't know if we have anything going on Thursday. I don't think so. But
not to my knowledge.
Friday night you'll have Overwatch, and Saturday night, sliding in instead of the Warzone, will be the Halo 2v2 tournament.
Oh yes.
And okay, so a lot of teams have been signing up. It's been received greatly since signups have been announced. Everything with this tournament is starting to really pop off. The prize pool has been increased. It's going to start at 3 p.m. Halo 5 Guardians 2v2. How about that? What did we say last week? 150 for the prize?
It was
pool?
150 up until last night.
And the new prize pool is $500.
Five of them.
500. A $350 increase overnight.
Inflation's a hell of a thing. Economics.
It's crazy. So if you haven't signed up yet, I recommend getting in there while you can. Spots are winding down in this event. So $500, 2v2 tournament, Halo 5 Guardians. Get out there, slay it, win that money.
Take your shot.
Look, that's $250 a piece.
Yeah, just take your shot.
Woo!
Yeah,
big money.
If I had any semblance of skill at Halo, I would jump on in there. But I don't even know if I would have the right controls.
I wouldn't know what to do.
I wouldn't either. And I know they got some sniper rifles in there.
Is friendly fire on?
Yes, it is. I did check the rules, and I saw it said 100% on friendly fire damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, teammate.
That takes me out right away. I'm sorry. I know it would happen. Not on purpose, but it would happen.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. I used to play Call of Duty hardcore mode all the time, and that was that was the big thing, the team kills. We would try to set it up to where we would team kill each other for the kill cam as well. God, those were the days.
The good old days. So you might see some of that next Saturday. I think you're going to see a lot of good action. some fun game modes on Halo 5. And this will our first Halo tournament since November. So that's been 5 months without a Halo event.
Yeah.
This prize pool, packing a punch, definitely going to be worth signing up. You can catch the action right on twitch.tv/CGL1.
Mm-hmm.
Check the website, consolegamingleague.com/Halo. Has the rules, all the information,
The
all
sign-ups,
the info about
all
the
of
prize
that.
pool, the sign up, the 3 p.m. Eastern start time. Everything is on that page, ready to go for you. consolegamingleague.com/Halo. Promo and registrations live. Go there, check it out, get involved. It'll be awesome. Still getting to the point where hopefully soon I can be announcing the registration being live for the Rocket League tournament that'll be coming up at the end of May. Still, we're working on some titles with Smash and other, a couple other titles. We're trying to work into this calendar here for the end of May and the beginning of June. So, summertime's coming up. The weather's getting nicer. We're going to start putting out more content.
Absolutely.
If you can't go to the beach, just watch our
Can't
Twitch.
go to the beach, get on the box.
That's right. Can't go on the beach, get on the box. The box will take care of you.
Yes.
You'll feel like you're in paradise.
It will.
So,
but yeah, the Halo, I think we're going to try and make that a semi-regular series as well, moving forward into the launch of the new console and new Halo title by the end of the year. I think those are supposed to launch together. At least last I knew, it was supposed to be a
joint production.
Joint production. There you go. They're both going to launch side by side. So that and the Warzone, I think that was very well received, and we will likely be doing more of that going forward as well to hone your skills on that, because I thought it looked cool. I thought that was awesome. There was a lot of strategy going into it, and it was really neat to see.
Yeah, so a lot of interesting titles and a lot of interesting tournaments that, Warzone being well received, Halo, I guarantee, is going to be well received. That could definitely lead to some monthlies, bi-weeklies.
Yeah.
You never know what it could lead into, so stay fresh on these games.
And I'm hearing these rumors of this Injustice 2 tournament. That's probably going to happen
as well.
Very soon, in the next maybe 2 weeks. Hint, hint, wink, wink. 2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
So, Mortal fighting game fans, Mortal Kombat fans, superhero fans, pick up Injustice, get ready to go.
Maybe not Marvel fans so much. I mean, it's DC, so
it's DC stuff. But Joker's in there. Joker's cool.
Yeah.
He's well liked across the board. So you never know. There's some that's going to be popping up.
Yeah.
Probably a little leaker action coming out shortly here.
I expect us to be able to announce something next week.
Yeah. We're both projecting. Mark it down.
Mark it.
That the show next Sunday, we should be having something here.
We'll be promoting a fighting game tournament of some sort.
That's right. So get ready for that, FGC. We love you, and we will be there next week, hopefully with something. If not, don't kill us.
We're just the messenger. Just the messenger.
Yeah, right. But obviously, a lot of big things popping up, coming out as the spring gets closer to summer. We're here for you with all the action that you want to be, that you want to have, and you want to get involved in. So just stay on the lookout. We will definitely be here to announce anything title-wise that goes on, and where you can get the information to sign up and participate.
Absolutely.
So that kind of wraps up the gaming and CGL portion of this show. And now it comes to the time.
The variety time.
Skate and I just let it rip and let it go.
I hope this kind of catches on and we find a crowd of people that are more excited about this portion of the podcast. Than the rest of it. They're like, yeah, that's CGL new stuff. Let's hear what they want to talk about.
Last week we talked about the premiere of The Last Dance, which was about the Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson era Chicago Bulls from the 90s to the mid-90s, where they just absolutely dominated the NBA. And episode 1 and 2 were awesome. Went over extremely well.
Yeah.
Just so many things it brought back. A lot of things you forgot about.
Yeah. I mean that was a
episode
time,
34
man.
Tonight, it's more. It was a time. You had the general manager go to Phil Jackson and say, "I don't care if you go 82-0. This is your last year coaching."
He literally said that. He said, "I don't care if you go 82-0. You will not be the coach next season." Can you imagine trying to coach through that? What a time. And Phil being the stand-up guy he is, what a guy. I'm sure he is like the coolest guy to ever talk to.
Phil's definitely a cool dude.
Like he went into that knowing after that conversation, and this is that the Last Dance, that's where it came from his idea for that season, his game plan that he had printed out and given to the players and had the booklets made, the title across it, The Last Dance, because he knew this was the last chance that they were going to have to put on this kind of run. And they all wanted to do it together, and it almost didn't happen because Phil wasn't going to be the coach. He was a free agent. They signed him for that last season. And Jordan refused to play for any coach other than Phil Jackson.
Other than Phil.
And all while Scottie Pippen is making like 30 cents a week.
Yeah, for real. He made what? $2.28 million that year.
Arguably in that time frame of that contract, that this terrible contract he had, he was arguably the second best player in the NBA in that time.
Yep.
You can make an argument for it.
And he made peanuts.
Peanuts.
Literally peanuts.
On the salary list, if you ranked everybody from 1 to whatever the bottom guy is, whatever number that is, he was number 112 on that list.
112.
And we're not talking about the R&B group from the 90s.
No. And this was a guy that was Jordan's right-hand man, the second guy that they looked to score in that lineup, a key defender of a multiple championship-winning team.
Mm-hmm. He was the Robin to his Batman. That's exactly who he was. He was. Michael never won without Scottie. He says as much in the doc, and he will tell you that to this day. He never won a thing without Scottie Pippen.
Without Scottie. And Scottie looked at it as, I need to sign a deal that'll give my family money. But nowadays, a player will make the noise like, I've outplayed this contract.
Yeah.
Not back then, there might have been a little rumblings, but it was much more of an owner's league than it is now.
How much of this blame do you put on the agent? I think the agents nowadays would not let him sign that kind of contract.
No, definitely not.
Like they kind of brushed over that and just kind of swept that under the rug. His agent has to take some of that blame.
It has to. After that first year of signing that deal, I'm going into the front office and saying, my client has vastly outperformed his contract. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
We don't need to play here. We can go somewhere else. He can do whatever.
Yeah.
What are you doing for my client who's outplayed this deal?
He deserved the here's the thing. I get the first few years of it, and you go through the 3 championships. You're under that contract. I think the time for the renegotiation is when Jordan comes back.
Yes.
Because Scottie didn't leave. Scottie stayed there the whole time.
And carried that team on his back.
He did.
For 2 years while Jordan was gone.
Made the playoffs, I think, both of those years as well.
Yep. So and you're going to not reward that man for... That's a crazy time.
Yeah.
That is a...
Yeah.
And Jerry Krause is sitting there just trying to become bigger than the team, and he hates that he built a team that just became so big. No sense at all. If you're winning championships, that's all you need. You're doing great. You can mess up all your drafts. You can trade someone that was a part of that team, and you're winning. No one's going to care.
And the part, I think, the biggest takeaway for me from like the first 2 episodes would be, it was something that I didn't realize at the time because I was so young. You know, I was, a kid at the time. I think it, when they won their last championship, I was 12. So I was a kid, but I was able to remember this stuff. I'm old enough to remember it and knowingly watched it. And and rooting for teams and whatnot. I didn't realize what a scumbag the owner is.
Oh yes. Oh
That
yeah.
dude, he's quietly
Crazy.
the antagonist of this whole deal.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because he's the one who put the GM in place and stood by
Yep.
the GM and basically allowed the GM to do whatever and talk to Phil however he wanted. Like, he was the enabler in this whole situation. And he's the one who he supposedly told Scotty not to sign that contract, but still let him sign that contract. If you didn't want him to sign that contract, you wouldn't have let him sign that contract.
Exactly. You rip that up and give him a new one. It's like
I can't wait to see what else. It's only been 2 episodes. We've got 10 of these.
It's only been 2 episodes. There's 8 more. You got 3 and 4 tonight, and all the promos. This is going to be heavily about an enigma throughout 90s, and really even still today. Homeboy hangs out in North Korea all the time. Dennis Rodman,
the Worm,
is going to slide into a little bit of the focal point with these 2 episodes tonight. Dennis Rodman, I remember as a kid, I was born in 1990, so I'm like 5-6 years old when they're winning, and I'm seeing like, whoa,
this guy wearing a dress. His hair's 1,000 different colors. He's kicking reporters on the sideline.
But while he was so charismatic and such an enigma, he was a flat-out dog on the basketball court.
Oh yeah,
that man was my inspiration to rebound when I started playing basketball, because that's what he did.
That's exactly what he did, and that's why he was brought into that team. He was brought into rebound because in the first set of championships, that first 3, and people may not know this, Dennis Rodman wasn't there for all 6 championships. He was only there for the second 3. The first 3, they had a gentleman by the name of Horace Grant. That dude was a beast too.
Yes, he was.
An unsung hero.
Yes,
he wore the goggles too. That was his thing. His trademark was the goggles. So, and then I think he ended up going to Orlando for a while after that. But yeah, it was a time, man. They had some characters. Steve Kerr, a lot of people know him as the coach of the Golden State Warriors. He played on that team. He hit some big shots for that
shooter.
Yeah, he hit some big shots for that team.
Yes, he did.
Oh my.
Dennis Rodman before Chicago was a bad boy Detroit Piston.
I forgot that. Who was it? Oakley was on that team, and they had to trade him.
Oakley, yep, they traded Oakley. Oakley was a freaking dog too. That dude. Who did he fight? Did he? Was he
who
the
didn't
one that
he
fought
fight?
Jeff Van Gundy? That's true. He fought a lot of people.
I know he ended up in New York at one point and tried to fight with the Pacers or the Davis brothers every time. But
he tried to fight when he was in Toronto. He was in Toronto for a little bit. He tried to fight there. He just liked to fight.
He was a bruiser. That's what he was there for.
The big dudes in the late 80s, early 90s, and even to like the mid to late 90s.
I would say even into the almost mid 2000s because Rasheed Wallace had a bit of that in him.
Oh yeah, you
had that enforcer type guy that you had on the court in case you needed to send a message to someone. They were the ones that were going to deliver the hard foul and deliver the message. So it was a different time. You could do that then. I mean, you couldn't drive to the basket as a guard in the 90s.
No.
You did not get to, because you were going to be punished for it.
That's why we loved Allen here, because homeboy was 6 foot and found a way to get to the lane against these big dogs. But
and to be fair, he could shoot. When you can shoot, that stuff opens up because they have to respect the shot.
That's right. And it's not, the game's just very different now.
Yeah.
And
it's still
crazy.
I'm still, dumbfounded by the people that don't play 3 feet in front of Russell Westbrook. The guy can't hit a jumper.
No. Just hand up.
Let him. If he's going to shoot threes, let him.
Let him do it. Yeah, don't let him get to the basket. He finishes around the basket and he'll dunk on you.
Yeah.
Just care if you're a foot
get
taller.
yourself that space.
Yeah. Because there's definitely a lot of people that are seeing this for the first time. They haven't seen 90s basketball, which to me is crazy.
Right?
But just this is like an eye-opening thing. Like the NBA has not always been let's space and shoot threes and dunk.
And not to mention the way the lottery used to be, and the fact that they were playing Jordan when he was hurt for 8 minutes a game or something.
Yep.
The last 4 minutes of each half, and they had to pull him out of a game at the end, and a game against the Pacers that they ended up winning because somebody else hit a shot last second. They were down and trailing, and they pulled Jordan out with like 20 seconds to go. They still end up winning and making the playoffs. If you missed the playoffs at that point, you had an equal chance of all the other teams that missed the playoffs to get the number 1 pick.
Absolutely crazy.
I mean, they still ended up getting Pippen the next year, but
Yeah.
but they had to trade for Pippen. Pippen wasn't actually drafted by the
exactly.
Bulls. He was traded on draft.
Yep.
He was actually traded the second he put the hat on, I think. Was how that worked.
Yeah. They did not like how he looked in the hat, so they traded him to Chicago, and hey, it worked out for Scotty in the long run, who ended up having a very nice career, winning championships and going to Portland and being a stud.
He finally got his money.
Yeah, yep. Scotty definitely got the money he deserved. He just could have made a lot more, but it's going to be exciting as we're here for 4 more weeks with 8 more episodes.
This is the only sports we got right now. Outside of some
sports we got.
Korean League baseball on Twitch I saw the other day.
Yeah.
That was strange.
Gonna stay away from that and
playing in an empty stadium. It was weird.
Yeah, right. Very, just a very odd time.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of odd, even though to me this ended up being odd in a good way.
Absolutely. I'm going to agree with that before you even start talking about it. I'm going to agree.
The NFL draft, normally around this time every year, but this year, normally they were supposed to be in Las Vegas this year.
Oh, it was a spectacle. They had a stage, a floating stage built that they were going to boat the players up after they got picked. I think it was on the Bellagio fountains. They were not going to have the fountains going, but it was a floating stage, and they were going to boat the players up.
Crazy.
Right.
So, obviously with this all going on, they can't do it, but they still wanted to get the draft going because of who knows when they're going to be able to open up and blah, blah, blah. So Roger Goodell is in his basement, which I thought it actually would have looked nicer.
I actually thought it would have been bigger. He posted a picture or a video on Twitter of like walking down his stairs into his little man cave den that he's got down there. And it was kind of small. I wonder if he has a fairly small kind of pleasant little house there.
He might. He's got a lot of money, but he might not be living that way. But
yeah, his house is probably fairly cozy. Just by looking at that basement, I would be willing to bet it is.
It looked like a home.
Yeah.
It looked like a home. The home of
It's
Raj.
like he was talking about watching games down there, and after looking at it, I 100% believe he's down there watching football on Sundays.
Oh yeah, especially with that chair that he
utilized. that worn leather. You know that thing is comfy. You know that thing is comfy.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a very comfortable chair. But I hate Roger Goodell.
Probably the least liked commissioner in sports.
And it's crazy just because of how popular the NFL is. Yet he's like just viewed as such a terrible commissioner. I actually gained respect and found Roger Goodell more likable after this virtual draft with his awkwardness. He accepted the booze. Him talking.
He seemed like a human. He didn't seem like a robot like he typically does.
Yes. There's even a South Park episode where Roger Goodell is involved and he's a robot, and the other owners complain that the Roger Goodell bot has stopped working and they don't know what to do. And this humanized him greatly. He was awkward, accepting the booze. Him talking to the obviously pre-taped fans before he announces the picks. He's sitting there talking to the TV screen, turning back, excuse me, when the camera's on, just looking incredibly awkward.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, there was a lot to like about that. I think
I love seeing the coaches. There were like little war rooms.
The coaches and the GMs and you know, they'd be sitting there in the war room, and they knew when they were going to be on camera because of the timing and everything, and they see everybody before. And the first few, I don't think you saw the first couple, but after that, you saw the kids come in, and they were hanging out in there so that they were on to let you know, hey, the whole family's here. This is an event. And you had Sean Payton sitting on his couch, feverishly talking to someone. He was in the zone. I don't know who he was talking to. You had Jerry Jones on his yacht. Did you see that? Yacht. He was actually in his yacht. There's a Twitter post, and it's got a picture of the yacht, like the room in there, and it is wild that he was doing that from an undisclosed location somewhere floating. But
floating somewhere.
Yeah, who knows? With the Salvation Army logo in the background. Typical Jerry.
And you had Cliff Kingsbury with
Bruce Arians on his porch.
Windows. Oh, yes, Bruce on his porch. Gruden's kids looking awkwardly.
Oh, my God, his son is a bowling ball. that kid, oh, my word. He never misses leg day or arm day or any day.
No. And Gruden looks like he hasn't missed a buffet in a while. He was sitting in that chair.
Gruden looks like he's this quarantine's hitting him kind of hard.
Yeah. He must be eating good over there in quarantine.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure the Gruden household's eating very nice. A lot of Spider 2Y bananas going on in there.
That's right. Yeah.
But
and he had Les Snead in his freaking pool closet. It looked like.
Yeah.
They have the pool in the background. The one dude in the back's wearing a mask, but they're like 2 inches from each other. And I'm like,
okay,
what is he doing?
Here's the thing I gotta ask, Mr. Eagles fan. What in the heck was up with the backdrops for the coach and the GM that were way too small for the camera that they were being picked up on?
I expect it from Howie Roseman because
that's the most Roseman thing he could do is to have a backdrop.
He's the biggest absolute nerd, and they showed on the news Thursday before the draft. He did like a hit with Adam Schefter earlier in the day, and he's talking about, well, these are my 8 computers, and he's watching ESPN, but the commercial is pregnant women working out on like treadmills. And everything about it was so timed. He's like, oh yeah, this is my little podium where I'm going to make my announcements and do my hits after the draft's over. And I'm like, Howie, this freaking backdrop is like 3 feet wide.
Well, to be fair, he's like 5'4", isn't he? He's a small man.
Yeah. He's a very small. It just looks so awkward. I'm like, that's the most Howie Roseman thing ever. He's got 14 TVs going on and 14 monitors, and he's got his draft board up, and I'm like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Then I see the background, and I'm like, no, okay, it's just a Howie thing.
Yeah.
And then I see it with Doug, and I'm sitting there. Howie definitely sent this to Doug and said, please set this
That
up.
is exactly what happened. Doug's like, I don't know. I just throw it up there.
Doug's like, oh, all right, whatever, Howie, whatever. Just let's just draft someone good here.
But hey, we alluded to it last week how both of our teams needed wide receivers. You got the belle of the ball that I loved in Jefferson there. Justin, is that his first name? I know it's a J.
Justin Jefferson. Yes, indeed.
Oh my gosh, that kid is a horse. He can.
We passed on him.
Oh my God.
Okay, so Thursday night, you touch on this.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Thursday night.
It was just no trades for the longest time, and then everybody wanted to move.
And everyone moved, but I'm sitting there. The Cowboys take CeeDee Lamb, and I'm like, I knew Jerry was going to take him because he had this Grinch smile on his face that only Jerry Jones can have.
I knew 100% before that pick came in, it had to be CeeDee Lamb.
Yep, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, if they're smart, they'll take a corner. Jerry's doing the draft by himself and not getting any help. I was like, they're taking CeeDee Lamb.
Well, yeah, because, the fastest player in the draft was already taken, so he couldn't do that.
Yes. Oakland taking Henry Ruggs at 12.
Al Davis is apparently
Al
still
Davis
making the
is-
picks from the grave.
He's still making picks from the grave. He's just got to get his son a better haircut. But so CeeDee Lamb goes, I'm like, all right, whatever. We're 4 picks away. The only team that I could see taking Justin Jefferson from my Eagles is Jacksonville. It gets to Jacksonville. They don't take him. Eagles are on the clock. They pan to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's talking on
Everybody
the phone.
knows it's going to be Jefferson. You
like,
want this is
here
you
it
want to know what
comes.
happened?
Woo!
Here, let me show you what happened. I had my phone up like this as the commissioner was announcing it, and I'm typing to Witty in Discord. You got him. And as I get ready to hit enter, what name is read?
Jalen Reagor. And I sat there on my bed, just kind of like this. If you're watching the video version of this podcast, I'm sitting there just like,
Very, very confused.
what? Why? And
I
2 minutes.
I don't even think he was the
Minnesota had
second
that-
best available.
No. He was.
I would
I had
argue.
Mi- I had Mims higher than him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Although,
would argue the guy that the Colts got was higher than him.
Yes, I liked him a lot too. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, but Thursday, I'm at work and I've done all my work and I'm like, you know what? I have a whiteboard where I write like all these hot jobs that are coming in and what's going on at work. I erase everything and I write, it's draft day, and I write my draft board up on my little board there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Jefferson at 1. I didn't have Reagor on there at all. But I'm sitting there at work and I'm like, you know what? This is the Eagles. It would make too much sense if they took Justin Jefferson at 21. So I brought up tape of Henry Mims and I brought up tape of Jalen Reagor. Just because in the back of my head, I said, this is Howie. This is what they're going to do. This is what's going to happen. But I'm like, I get home from work. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. If Jefferson's there, they're going to take him.
Yeah.
They're going to take him. And then they show Jefferson on the phone, and everyone at his house looks excited. They pan to the Eagles. The Eagles look excited. I'm like, okay, here it comes. Jalen Reagor gets announced, and then immediately Minnesota was on the clock for 30 seconds. They had that.
Yeah, they're like,
took
no, we're
Justin
taking him.
Jefferson. And I'm just like, why? Why do they do this? Why do they do this? And then Friday night comes. I'm watching the draft. Eagles are on the clock. Oh, man, J.K. Dobbins is available. Mims is still available. Oh, man, there's some talent here. What do? They draft Jalen Hurts, and I turned the draft off and said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it anymore.
I feel for you. That was a hard one to watch because you
did
had
my
everything
Eagles
you wanted
podcast
in front of you,
Saturday,
and they
too.
didn't take it. It's
Everything.
different if you're sold on those players and they go before. Like that's like, oh, darn, we missed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to have them available and everybody knows that's who you should take and you don't, that's frustrating.
I was afraid that they would try to. They have this habit of trying to outsmart everyone.
Yeah.
Instead of
Just take the guy.
Just take the thing. Take the sure thing.
Yeah.
Take the one that is there. You don't have to go,
No.
oh, everyone likes this guy, so I have to like this kid.
Right.
It doesn't have to be that way.
You need a wide receiver. Take the wide receiver that when they show him in highlights, he's completely covered in every highlight and still catches the ball. Take that
Still
guy.
finds a way.
Yeah, take that guy.
Still finds a way.
But
Put
all
the
in
guy
all,
that-
a tale of two teams. I thought my team crushed it.
I loved
Everything they did.
Indianapolis
I know
Colts draft.
everything they did. I was like, God, they nailed it this year. So time will tell on both of these. I mean, who knows? Maybe your guy that you got is going to be a stud. We don't know. But that's why they play the game, as it were. The takeaway I had from this draft is I want them to do it like this every year. I thought this was the best version of the draft ever. It was the most watched draft in history. Probably because there's nothing else on, really. It's the only live event, so I think the number I heard was 15.9 million on Thursday night.
Yeah,
So it crushed all the records, but it was because it was watchable and it was fun. You had all the players. You got to see different players reacting differently with their families and their friends and who they were surrounded by, and you could tell the players who were kind of, I guess, stuck up is the way to put it. You could tell who those guys were just because of the reaction and whatnot when they got drafted. But then you occasionally got, an offensive lineman from Michigan that just erupts in tears, and his mom is right there, and oh my gosh, like those kind of things.
Dude,
those are the best moments.
So cool.
And I like that idea better because you can't fly everybody out to the draft with you. And yes, there's the thing about walking across the stage. I think that's overrated. Just do it this way. Do it this way, NFL. Send them all the hats. You can still have them put the hat on in the living room. That was a cool little touch that they did.
That was cool.
Maybe send them some kind of webcam setup thing. I don't know. So it's maybe a better camera for some of them because some folks didn't have as good a camera as others did. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a very interesting way to do it. You had the Zoom meeting of fans behind Roger Goodell as he was getting ready to announce the picks, which I thought was kind of cool. You could improve upon that a little bit, but yeah. I think there is a version of this moving forward that should be done with the draft. This was just too cool to do it this way.
And hats off to their production, just because they
nailed
didn't have any problems.
No.
And that was the big fear. Was there just going to be some kind of malfunction, some hackers. All the GMs worried about hackers getting in there.
I can't speak for that, but as far as the production and how that went, I can almost tell you how that went. Just from what I saw and what I was kind of keying in on, being, the production person that I am, every single time that they went to Roger Goodell to make a pick, that was not live. Those were all pre-recorded. As the pick came in, they went ahead and recorded it right away because I think the footage on the TV behind him with the Zoom meeting, that was all pre-recorded. That's why you had logos over certain people, because they were probably doing something offensive or something, and they didn't want it to be on the camera, so they just threw the team logo up over them. But hats off, because they knew that going in, and that was the plan, and they crushed it. That's why sometimes you would see the pick is in for 5 minutes before they launch it, because they probably had to do a couple takes to get it all ready, and then they would just throw it in the feed and kick it out. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, they crushed it. Bill Belichick's dog got his name out there.
Yeah, he did.
I just really thought it was just over the top cool with how everything looked and how everything turned out.
Yeah.
I had to deal with a very confusing draft. I thought the Indianapolis Colts draft was very, very well. They drafted very well.
I thought the Dolphins also did very well.
Dolphins killed it. I was surprised the Redskins actually did the smart thing and stayed put at number 2 and drafted Chase Young. You saw
they finally did the smart
draft
thing.
A quarterback. The Redskins did something smart. It kills me to say that.
I know, right?
Hats off. Hats off to them for doing that. You saw the Packers draft a quarterback in the first round. The Patriots didn't draft a quarterback at all, which, early prediction here, they're going to tank and end up with Trevor Lawrence.
You think that's the play? Who's starting for the Patriots week 1?
It'll be the pride of Auburn, Jared Stidham.
Yeah, about that.
About a 5'10", mediocre arm.
I have a prediction.
Quarterback.
Are you ready for my prediction?
Yes.
I think the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots on week 1 will be Jacoby Brissett.
Oh. They drafted Eason. The Colts drafted Eason. They signed Phillip Rivers. Okay. I like that. I like that. I like it. Originally a Patriot. Belichick liked him too.
Send a pick over. He's yours.
Dang. Okay. I like that. Maybe they aren't going full tank mode. If they can get Jacoby, I think they will.
They were originally grooming Jacoby to be the successor.
Yes. Man, you had Kraft choose Brady over both of Belichick's wannabe quarterbacks. You know, Belichick wanted Garoppolo to be there, and he wanted Brissett to be there.
Yep.
Interesting. That's going to be a 30 for 30 in about 20 years. And that'll be awesome to see, too.
And there'll be an Allstate commercial based on it. That's a little plug at the Last Dance for those that have seen it.
Right.
Or State Farm. Was it State Farm? Yeah, State Farm.
Good old State Farm. Always trying to stay relevant.
But hey, we did it. We've made it an hour again.
An hour's just easy now. How about that?
We figured it out.
Yeah, we've got it down. Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. We did hit the hour mark again. You can check this podcast out on Spotify, iTunes, really anywhere you listen to a podcast, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it a rate, leave it a review, comment on it, ask us questions, give us some suggestions.
Please.
Whatever you want.
What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear us talk about?
What do you want to hear?
We'll see if we can't get some guests at some point, too. I think we can make that work.
Yeah.
At some point, get somebody on here and chat with them about some things going on.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So we'll try to work on that for you, but definitely like it, comment, share it, get the word out. Anyone who has listened or watched, we definitely appreciate you and thank you very much. You're awesome. And we appreciate you sitting down for an hour and then talking it out with us too.
Absolutely.
Also, don't forget to follow all of our socials. We have an Instagram. We have a Reddit page we always forget about. We have a Twitter. We have a Facebook page. Especially the YouTube. This will premiere on YouTube. Always does. So hit that subscribe button. You'll get notifications of any CGL video when that is put up on there.
Yep.
And you get to watch these two handsome dudes talk and break things down for you.
Absolutely.
On this podcast.
Yes.
Anything else, Mr. Skate, before we wish the beautiful people good night?
No, I just once again hit them with the YouTube. That's where we're throwing everything up. That's where a lot of what we do is living now for the long term. We're going live on the Twitch for the live events, but everything that's long term we're pushing out on the YouTube. Make sure you get in there. And check out the premiere of this one time if you can. Just get in there live. There's a live chat room just like a Twitch feed. So it's a very cool thing to check out. So, yeah, make sure to hit us with the follow.
Hit us with the follow. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Breakdown Podcast. For Skate, I'm Witty. Have a good night. Thanks again. We'll talk to you next week.